Hello all, it's Ruthie. I'm going to talk today about how to put a story into your children's rhyming picture book and how to pick your rhymes. So when you write a regular children's book, it's the same formula every time. You have a character, you have a problem, and you have a solution. You may make that a bit longer by giving them another problem on top of the solution, but it's the same formula. You have a character, a problem, a solution. Poetry is a little bit different because even though the form and the structure of it is much tighter than prose, meaning we have to use a mathematical foundation to get that poem to work, the story itself can be a lot looser. So if it's a rhyming picture book, you can just have a picture book about children walking through the forest and looking at colours and looking at the leaves, and there doesn't need to be the same level of structure to the story, as we're just allowed to do that in poetry. But you can still put the character problem solution into the poem if you want to, and that can make a really lovely story. On the subject of picking rhymes, I recommend using a rhyming dictionary. You can find these online for free. So the rhyme you want, put that into this little search bar and it will bring up a selection of rhymes, because sometimes it's really hard to come up with really good rhymes, and you want your rhymes to actually make sense. You don't want your rhymes to just sort of be there because they rhyme. They actually need to make sense of the overall story. So I would definitely use a rhyming dictionary. And if we go back to our poem, St. George and the Dragon by Alfred Noyes, you will notice there is a lovely sort of story to it, but it doesn't follow the standard formula of a character and a problem and a solution, because St. George is actually quite irritated with the outcome, and really it sort of ends more on a problem than it ends on a solution. But because it's poetry, it's perfectly all right. So if you listen to it, when you construct a rhyming children's book, you just want it to have a satisfactory conclusion. It's the lovely thing about poetry is, even though the writing itself is very tightly structured, the story within the poem is allowed to be a lot more loose. It can be a lot more expressive. So this is it's just got a lovely feel to it. St. George, he slew the dragon, but he didn't shout hooray. He dumped it in the wagon just to clear the mess away. But the wagoner, he sold it to a showman at the fair, and when St. George was told it, he was almost in despair. For the people crowded round it to admire its teeth and claws, but Sir George, he was an Englishman and did not like applause. The creature weighed a ton at most, he muttered through his vizard. I do not feel inclined to boast about that puny licet. There we go. It's got a lovely flow to it. It's got a lovely finish to it. It just feels really nice, but it's more of a happening. It's more of an event than than a really structured story. And in a poem, that is perfectly all right. And on the subject of rhymes, again, I do strongly recommend using a rhyming dictionary, because you want your rhymes to have real meaning. You don't want your rhymes to sort of just fall into the category of is just put there because it rhymes. The rule with rhymes is a rhyme cannot rhyme with itself. So bat can rhyme with cat, but bat cannot rhyme with bat. I don't know why that is. It just doesn't sound very nice. So if you want more tips on this, I'm making this a rather short video because my mum is upstairs moving furniture around, and that is rather noisy. So I'll keep this brief. But if you pop across to my blog and you look under the section how to write a rhyming children's book, I will have more tips on how to construct a story in your book, and also how to pick your rhymes. And until next time, you can find the link to that in my bio in case I didn't say that. And until next time, happy writing. Bye bye.